Good afternoon. Long before the COVID-19 pandemic made its appearance and proved itself to be the greatest reset button for many economies around the world, our leaders here in Trinidad and Tobago recognized that we needed to do a reset of our own economy and lessen our overdependence on the energy sector as the key driver of economic growth. For more than 20 years, government has repeatedly called on the private sector to be its partner in economic diversification in Trinidad and Tobago. It sounded a clarion for diversification quite a while back, after we learned the painful and bitter lessons that came with both oil and natural gas prices, when oil and natural gas prices dipped incredibly low and stayed that way for far too long. Indeed, a perusal of many budget statements from both the current and previous ministers of finance would show government policy shifting in a direction to provide support to non-energy sector industries and provide increasing incentives for investments in non-energy and non-manufacturing economic activity. We at the TTCSI heard the economic diversification message government sent all those years ago. The imperative for diversification was uppermost in our minds, of the organization's founders, of the founding professional bodies, all the way back in 2006. Even though we continually review and reassess our strategic imperatives to enable us to respond to trending global, regional, and local economic development, a successful diversification thrust remains foremost in our minds. We understood clearly very early on, from our very inception as an organization, that it could not be business as usual. And wherever there was a major global development that required us to reassess the understanding and orientation we adopted to ensuring resilience among our members was reinforced each and every time. It is for this reason we have worked so assiduously to help our partner services sector representative organizations, their member firms, and entrepreneurs develop what we call an exporter's mindset. We know some would argue that we have been quite aggressive in this particular mission we have undertaken. But the harsh reality is that we cannot afford to sit back and wait. We need to act now. Being proactive is the only way small developing states like ours will survive the new international economic trends we see evolving every day. The post-pandemic world we currently inhabit is even more volatile than anything we have experienced before. Major economies, include among which are our major trading partners, are fighting record levels of inflation and struggling with recessions. The US dollar is having its supremacy challenged as countries consider returning to the gold standard in actuality rather than philosophically. Military conflicts are springing up on several continents, even as some of the world's larger democracies see electoral changes that bring into office leaders who are choosing to return their attention inward rather than adopting a universalist approach. There's also the harsh reality that not only has AI or artificial intelligence captured our collective imaginations, it is transforming the way business is conducted, with certain production inputs from humans being erased from the productivity equation slowly but surely. This evolving world demands a new kind of entrepreneur and business operator. It needs a different kind of advocacy from business lobby groups such as ours. As we at TTCSI see it, it is imperative that the public-private sector partnership that government has been calling for and espousing for the past 2 decades level up, as the younger generation likes to say. We at TTCSI have embraced the challenge to level up and have been doing our part to answer government's call for partnership in its economic diversification efforts. That is why we conducted important sectoral and market research between 2020 and 2022, utilizing our National Services Exporters Survey methodology to understand what policy gaps existed that were preventing services entrepreneurs from being as resilient and progressive as possible in the face of a major challenge like a global pandemic, and what support they needed to thrive in the various incarnations of what has been referred to now as the new normal. It is also why in 2022, we focused our advocacy on tourism, maritime, and related industries. Just like government recognized in the 2000s, we too see the enormous potential to generate substantial foreign exchange for our economy and the creation of job opportunities for our people. We responded to the economic gauntlet that was tossed at us in the business community by designing our Services Go Global initiative, with the key component being the Gateway to Trade program for services firms and entrepreneurs. This program equipped participants with the critical tools they needed to become true exporters for their particular services and expertise, enhancing their competitiveness and ability to earn foreign exchange. Within the last couple of years, we created a powerful tool to help our local services firms promote themselves globally, especially for international firms looking to our region for investment opportunities and possible joint ventures, among other opportunities. I am speaking here of our National Services Exporters Portal. Some might say we are overly ambitious, taking on a mantle which would normally be expected of the state and its special development agencies. We believe that we cannot stand aside waiting for the state to do the kind of intelligence gathering and advocacy work that we have undertaken, when there are so many competing interests for its attention and the national purse as well. It is counterproductive, especially when the government long ago made an open invitation for true partnership in securing our country's sustainable economic development. No one knows our businesses better than we do. We understand better than anyone what we need to be resilient, what we need to grow, what we need to thrive. It is not the policymakers who are usually far removed from the day-to-day activities of business. We are the ones in the trenches, up to our elbows and sometimes up to our necks, working to keep our business profitable and in a hostile and volatile environment globally. This is yet another reason why public-private partnerships are so important for sustainable economic development. Constant dialogue among and between partners is necessary when one party is responsible for policy creation and the other is responsible for policy implementation. Both need to work together to ensure that the policies created are progressive, will facilitate the desired growth and development, and can be effectively and efficiently implemented to ensure that they can bear fruit. Anything less is indeed counterproductive. Trinidad and Tobago needs to be leading the way and setting the bar high for the future growth and development of our region and the position we hold in the global marketplace. We certainly have the talent and resources to achieve this. As noted in my remarks earlier in our 2022 annual report, policymakers must seek guidance from industry professionals to shape the future of the various sectors and move quickly to reform any existing frameworks currently hindering progress. Close collaboration with line ministers, permanent secretaries, and our members is crucial to identifying the gaps between local policies, international operational standards, and practices. By bridging these disconnects, we can move forward sustainably and capitalize on new revenue opportunities. So, to you, our members, partners, stakeholders, we at TTCSI have proven ourselves up to the challenge of reimagining and re-engaging the Trinidad and Tobago services economy, and we will continue to do our part to ensure its successful diversification. The kind of retrofitting and modernization that is required won't be easy. In fact, there are many instances where one may want to surrender. But I say to you, failure is not an option. The foundation we are laying here today will contribute significantly to a sustainable economy for the future generations of Trinidad and Tobago entrepreneurs. If we fail them today, they cannot be faulted for judging us harshly tomorrow. Let us secure their inheritance so that they can grow even further for their successors to pick up and run with the sustainable economic development baton. Let us ensure that we come down on the right side of history. Our people's future certainly depends on it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.